All right. Well, today we are going to be doing a deck tech, and we're going to be playing a league with a deck that I brewed up a couple days ago. That's been really interesting, been fun to play. Still a work in progress. I got a couple ideas, but right now it's been doing pretty well. And I'm the type that I want to get a decent amount of games in at the base level before I kind of start thinking about changes. I don't want to make a change after 20 matches only. Especially when it's already seeming like it's pretty cohesive and going well. Just to kind of get an idea what the formula is, like changes, when are the spots that I need those changes actually coming up, stuff like that. But so we're playing a blue green Yggdrasil Portent Calamity Eldrazi deck. So what's going on, right? So this deck's looking super out of left field here. So let me kind of explain a little bit about what's going on here and kind of how we got to this point. So in June or July of this year, I came up with a brew for a green-red Eldrazi through the Breach deck with some of the new Modern Horizons 3 cards. Being able to have Kozilek's Command as like an early interaction point and also a way to like hard cast Emrakul in the late game by making a bunch of mana, being able to scry to dig for your like important cards, being like graveyard hate, instant speed, it just does a lot. On top of like being able to have the labyrinth, have the talisman, and then if you're playing some kind of way to cheat Emrakul, the four Emrakuls are still a drawback. Sometimes you don't want to draw them, but being able to pitch it to the labyrinth for free, it makes it like a little bit less bad to draw Emrakul randomly. And so I was thinking about some of the things from that deck, and with this new card Yggdrasil, Yggdrasil is an artifact that you can play it by itself, and you can tap it, and you exile the top three cards of your library, and you pay 4 mana and tap it, and you put a creature card exiled with it onto the battlefield under your control, and it gets haste, and you can only do it as a sorcery. And you also exile all creatures from your graveyard when it ETBs as well. And so I was thinking, okay, well, so this card is like a good way to cheat Emrakul, and also the Sire 7 Deaths. If you give that haste, it's got First Strike, Vigilance, Menace, Trample, Reach, and Lifelink. If you give that haste, you're swinging for 7, and then you have another 7 life on block, too. It's going to be really hard to die that way. So my thought was kind of, okay, well, we don't need red. This card, Yggdrasil, and this card, Portent, can do something by themselves. You can cast these cards proactively. And compared to like Through the Breach and Emrakul or whatever, you need 2 cards. And also, those decks are playing like Ulamog Defiler, a 10 mana Eldrazi that's like there's going to be a lot of games where it's like stuck in your hand in like an early turn. But like the theory when I made this build was like, okay, I can like have a quick Yggdrasil into something crazy and go from there. But like I've also just had a ton of games where I'm just like, all right, Labyrinth, Talisman, Stirrings, go find Mycospawn. Turn 2, play a land, Mycospawn, go get Eldrazi Temple. Turn 3, Hardcast Ire, 7 deaths. And it's just like it's kind of hard for them because I have some of these cards that can just like go crazy by themselves that they have to deal with, but then also like I can just play like a regular ramp game plan and like against like the interactive type decks, like okay, they're gonna try to mulligan to Thoughtseize or like a hate piece for this, but then I just like Michael Spawn ramp into Null Drifter and just draw 2 cards and just like get ahead in the value that way too. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on. And then this Portent card, for anybody not familiar, it's a really interesting card here. So X and a blue sorcery, you reveal the top X cards of your library, and for each card type that you reveal, you can exile a card of that type, and then you put the rest into your graveyard, and then basically as long as you have chosen 4 more cards, meaning you've revealed 4 more types, you can cast one of those for free. So for example, if I cast Portent for X is 5, and I reveal Emrakul, Yggdrasil, Ancient Stirrings, a land, and let's say Dismember, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 types. I can cast one for free. Even if it was 2 Yggdrasils. I've got 4 types here, I can cast one for free. So I cast this Emrakul, and I take an extra turn because I still get the cast trigger. Alternatively, even hitting a Sire or a Null Drifter to cast for free is still pretty good because the Sire is just a good thing to, keep yourself alive, and then the Null Drifter is still 4/4 that draws you 2 cards. Even if you hit an Yggdrasil, that gives you time to start spinning it a while. You still get the cast trigger off Mycospawn too. So it's really cool. And what's nice about this card too is like in spots where maybe you went like turn one Labyrinth, imprint Ulama or imprint Emrakul, play Talisman, and then turn two, like play an Eldrazi Temple, and like you would have played the Ring before. Like in those kind of spots, you can still Portent for X is 3, and like you'll still draw like 2 to 3 cards on average, which is nice just to help you start like churning through the deck that way. And then like another thing too is like in those like mid to late games, like a lot of times you might like portent for like 5 or 6 and cast like a Sire. But if you drew like another portent off of that portent, you just go again next turn. They can kind of chain into each other that way. Or you took a Kozilek's command and you can make a bunch of tokens and scry and go again or something like that. It's really cool. And the other thing that's nice about portent as well is portent gets around Orcish Bowmasters because you're revealing cards and you're putting cards into your hand. So it gets around Orcish Bowmasters, it gets around Narset, which I've seen a little bit more Narset recently in the format. Any of that draw hate, it gets around that too. So that's about it for the main deck as far as anything crazy mana wise. I had some ideas for other builds that could possibly use like dual faced cards as like a way to have more types for Portent. And then maybe like if you have Seagate Restoration, that could be like a cool land that you can hit off Portent and cast it. Not too sure about that, because the mana felt pretty smooth here, and it might be stretching it too far, But maybe there's a different deck or an adjustment that gets made where that makes sense. Really liking the mana though overall. Obviously, the 4 temples and the 4 labyrinths are pretty obvious. Just want to have your quick mana, be able to go crazy on that end. Not a lot of people, even in the blue-red list right now, are playing Gemstone Caverns. I really think it's a miss to not play at least 2 Gemstone Caverns in your deck. It's like, the downside of like having 2 main deck and like occasionally drawing your 1 legendary, which you can still use as a Lotus Petal, is like, to me, that downside is like pretty low compared to like the upside of like, in roughly half your games you'll go second, and then in some portion of those games you'll have Gemstone Caverns in your hand and like be able to keep up or like go a lot faster. Like I literally had a game where I went turn 1 Gemstone Caverns, Ugin's Labyrinth, imprint, play Yggdrasil, and then I exiled Sire, and then turn 2 played a land, put a Sire into play with haste and attacked against Boros Energy. So it's like Gemstone can just let you go real crazy. So I really recommend playing that card. The mana base, being able to have the fetches, being able to get the basics came up a couple times. Being able to be good against Boseiju overall was more what came up. Like if I was playing a build that had like a bunch of Yavimaya coasts and stuff, I wouldn't have been as good against Boseiju. But I had a game where like somebody had like Boseiju Ren and 6'd me like 3 times, and I was just like still keeping up because I have like what I have three. I have six lands I can get off Boseiju, without slowing me down, really. I mean, if he had a temple or whatever, it slows me down, but without, like, missing a land drop and being super far behind. So yeah, the Boseiju, I like it main deck. I think being able to, especially game 1, being able to go Michael Spawn for Boseiju, and then uncounterable Kozilek's Command, make, like, 5 tokens, scry, and then uncounterable Portent, look at my top 12, draw, like, 5 cards, and then cast either this or something for free is like it's almost impossible to lose a game 1 if you do that, which is like winning the game 1s there now is actually a little bit important because like excuse me, because like the non-basic land hate and stuff like that is actually like decently strong. So some of those decks, like between that and consign, can like definitely have hands that kind of screw you over. So like I think it's like important to at least have 1 free win there, or not free win, but one really good game plan, because after board they charm all and stuff like that, and it's a little bit harder. So yeah, I know I said that was all for the main deck a couple minutes ago, but that's all for the main deck now. And then here we go to the sideboard. So sideboard wise, we've got 2 Consign to Memory, we got 4 Mystical Dispute, we've got our 4th copy of Dismember, right? We have 3 in the main deck, but then we board into a 4th one in certain matchups. We have two copies of the Stonebrain. We've got 3 Haywire Mites, and we got 3 Tormod's Grips. So, still work in progress here on the sideboard. I'm definitely feeling like the dismember I want. Just enough matchups where like having like turn one dismember into like just buying yourself the time you need. Turn one dismember, turn two Kozilek's command, like exile a random one drop or something like that kind of stuff. Just like you need to be able to stay alive in the early game against certain decks to be able to like get to do your thing. Um, Two consigns. It's hard to know right now because I haven't really played against a lot of other Eldrazi decks that I've seen online at least. But I still want to try to keep some respect for it there. So I'm still trying it. It's good against some of the Saga decks. Other Saga decks, it's not as good against too. So it's hard to know. Like I'm feeling a little bit low on the card right now personally, but I'm still playing it. For Mystical Dispute, Mystical Dispute's just been really good so far. Like just being able to use it defensively and offensively against a bunch of different decks. Really liking that. I mean, I could maybe see going to 3. Right, I could see going to 3, but I'm definitely liking that. The Haywire Mites have been awesome so far. I'm really liking those. Partly the reason why I'm choosing Haywire Mite over other options is because of Ancient Stirrings. I could play something cheap and instant speed that hits everything, like Nature's Claim or whatever. Or I could try to play Pick Your Poison or something along those lines. But I like that I can turn one, I can Stirrings, and if I hit Haywire Mite, I can still turn two, play the Mite, and pop it on like an Urza Saga. And then not as huge, but it's come up before and been relevant. Haywire Might with Yggdrasil is pretty cool. Like if in that situation I just said, if I went turn one Haywire Might or turn one Stirrings, turn two Might, pop it, turn three play Yggdrasil, I exile Haywire Might with Yggdrasil's ability. So I've had a game before where like I did that, and then turn four I played Ugin's Labyrinth and exiled, and I was able to activate Yggdrasil, put the Haywire Might back in, and then sack it again right away, which was cool. So not the most relevant there, but also even that you can tap it and just randomly hit a Haywire Mite, comes up. It's an artifact and a creature for Portent of Calamity. Again, not the hugest thing, but it comes up. Some downsides or times where it was bad. This is not good against Stony Silence. That's a card that I wasn't thinking about, but I did lose a game because like I had something good exiled under Yggdrasil, and then they played Stony Silence, and I had Haywire Might in my hand, and I couldn't kill the Stony, and I was thinking if this was like a Boseiju, you can find Boseiju off of Ancient Stirrings, still, and you could hit Stony Silence, but I don't know, kind of like still liking the Might a little bit overall because I don't feel like the Stony Silence is being played that much, and then also like I'm gonna have hands where my opponent goes Stony Silence, and I'm like, okay, Michael Spawn, get Temple, and they play like whatever, and I'm like, okay, play Sire, and it's like they took their turn two off to play Stony, and I still had a hand that played through it, and now they're just like really far behind tempo wise. So not exactly sure how heavy I need to go on thinking about that card specifically, but Stone Brain, a lot of different combo decks, stuff like that. Name whatever card is really good. Obviously you want to save it for like combo decks, or if they have like a card against you that's like really good that you just can't like beat, or something like that, maybe. So that's kind of where that's coming in. Also, you can find that off Stirrings. You can play it turn one off of Ugin's Labyrinth. You can even like I had a game where I went before Ugin's Labyrinth, Imprint, Talisman, Ancient Stirrings, Fine Stone Brain, and then turn two played it and popped it. Stuff like that. And then Tormod's Crypt. So there's all kind of different graveyard hate pieces you could use. There's Leyline of the Void, Relic Progenitus, all this stuff. I was originally trying Relic Progenitus in a slightly different build, and I had one game where I was like, I need to have Tormod's Crypt in my sideboard specifically because of what happened this game. And I think it makes sense. So I was on the draw against like a Faith Saluting Persist deck. My opponent went turn one Faithless Looting Archon or discard Archon. And I went play land Ancient Stirrings, and I found Relic Progenitus. And my opponent went play a land Persist Archon. And as soon as that happened, I was like, wow. I was like, if I just Ancient Stirrings there and I hit Tormod's Crypt and I play it and say go, like what does my opponent do? You know what I mean? Like my opponent's probably in like a weird spot now. So I decided to play Tormod's Crypt because of that. Being able to do that, even being able to like tap out for a Portent of Calamity, and being able to cast it for free still, or being able to turn 2, Null Drifter Evoke, and cast it for free. Like, I think just being able to cast it for free when people are doing crazy graveyard stuff on turn 2, like, it actually matters more than the draw, especially because this deck has so many different ways to draw, or like, this doesn't necessarily draw you cards, but this is like a card that can, you play this turn 2 and play Tormod's Crypt, and, you can spend all your mana on this while still stopping them, and then this card by itself can, I've literally had games where I cast this turn 2 and then exiled Emrakul or Sire with it, and then turn 3 activated it and just won the game like by itself. So that's where we're at right now as far as the main deck and side deck goes. Not a whole lot of super heavy considerations yet for changes. A couple mana based things are possible, but I'm still kind of getting the vibe of it. So yeah, that's where a little deck tech, and then we'll see you back here for round 1. Okay, so I've got turn 2 Yggdrasil. If they have some kind of way to deal with that, I can still evoke a Null Drifter. Probably find a land to play a Micah Spawn to get here. So I would not want to play against like a really quick combo deck with this hand. Delta, say go. Alright. And go. Okay, Kozilek's command is interesting. So normally in these kind of spots, you would probably want to get the hedge maze to try to look for your land a while. But there is some upside to playing this here, and then if I draw a Temple or a Ugin's Labyrinth, and like my opponent plays Psychic Frog next turn, I'd be able to exile it and make them have to have Force Negation, which I think sounds interesting enough that I'm willing to take that line. My plan otherwise will probably just be to either play the Yggdrasil if they tap out, or if they leave up 2 mana, I'll probably just try to evoke the Null Drifter. Hard to know because that plays into Bowmasters, but at least I'm not playing into like a counterspell super easy. End step here, what do they have? Scour. Hit Unearth and shoot the Sheriff. Okay. Alright, so the worst case would have been hit Narcon and then untap and play Persist, right? That would have been scary. Let's see what they do here. They go again, which makes me think they have a counterspell. Yeah, so if I think they have a counterspell, I could either I could hold up Kozilek's command here to try to fight off something, or I could evoke Null Drifter right now. So for them to put something in the yard here, they'd have to like consider or Thought Scout or something, or they could like untap Faithless Looting and have it. I definitely don't want to jam this because I feel like they have a counterspell. I think in this spot it probably ends up being right to evoke most of the time, so that's what I'm going to go for. Oh wow, they have Bowmat. Okay, wow. Wasn't necessarily expecting them to have Bowmasters in a Thought Scour deck, but alright. Well, that was less than ideal, but we can still go Micah Spawn next turn, get a temple, and then try to hard cast the Sire the turn after, or we might try to pitch Sire and Kozilek's Command on their turn. Then when we untap, we can do this and kick. Yeah, honestly, I wasn't really expecting them to have Bowmasters there. If that was the case, my best line was probably just to cast the Yggdrasil and force them to counterspell instead, or let it resolve, right? Maybe a bit of a misevaluation there on my end. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm gonna make them have to have force of negation here, and I'm just gonna make tokens, and I'm gonna exile their token because I'm like my deck doesn't really draw a whole lot, so I think I'd rather try to keep my life total high. Does that make sense? I could exile the Bowmaster, make 3 tokens. I could chump the token. I'd still have 2 tokens left. Does that make more sense? Maybe. Yeah, maybe it does. Exile create. Now, if they have force negation, they have to pitch 2 cards. They have spell pierce. Okay. Okay, opponent. Hard to read this deck list for sure. Cycle on Earth. All right. Well, I guess I could be. They could have had a lot worse plays for me than Cycle on Earth, huh? All right. So we're gonna kick this Myco Spawn. We're gonna take that Watery Grave, and we're gonna go get a temple. And then if we draw any land, we can pick up a Sire and hard cast it. If we could also Stirrings into a temple or something potentially. If they attack with the Orc army and the Bowmasters, do I trade or eat first is a good question. If they attack with just a token, I'm surely trading. But if they attack with both, is there a world where I go block here and then next turn? Probably not. Probably not, yeah. If they don't even attack at all, which is actually not what I expected. I thought for sure this was coming in at least. Alright, so I said any land. I forgot I have 1 tap land, but that's fine. So yeah, I think we'll start off here with the Stirrings. Okay, we just find a Sire to cast. And they can see. Alright, okay. So that game 1 was looking a little bit rough there at first. Yeah, I really thought when I screwed up there on casting that Null Drifter that was going to be a bad game for me. But we ended up pulling it out there. I mean, I think they got a little unlucky on missing a land. I don't know what exactly was in their hand. But yeah, all right. Well, game 2 here. So cards we want to think about. Dismember is nice because it stops their fair plan, and also like if they persist an Oculus or an Archon, Dismember deals with that too, so it's kind of killing whatever they do. Some number of disputes are definitely a thought. Some number of Tormod's Crypts. The trick is like I don't want to bring in 8 cards, right? That's a lot of cards. So it's kind of figuring out what blue cards, you know, am I going to want to be heavy on dispute over the crypt? Because the crypt is going to be nice on stopping their reanimate kind of stuff. The disputes are going to be better more defensively. What kind of cards did they mill? They didn't mill a counterspell. They had Unearth, Shoot the Sheriff, Bowmasters, Nile Spellbomb. So, honestly, they might not be on the full Archon kind of stuff, thinking about it. Because if they're on Archon Persist and all that, how are they having room for, like, Nile Spellbomb and all that, and Spell Pierce, compared to other lists I've seen? I think they might just be using Unearth more for value, and just be on, like, Psychic Frog, Oculus. So maybe we'll readjust here. I'm willing to be wrong, but that's just kind of my first thoughts, seeing what they have going on. So I think we'll try the disputes and the dismember. Dispute, really good offensively and defensively against them. Cards that we can cut, I think we'll try trimming a little bit on some of the fatties is normally where I first go. Like I'll trim a Portent, an Emrakul, a Null Drifter. This is important to hardcast, so maybe not so much on that. Maybe like an Yggdrasil, and we're on the draw, so we want both gemstones. Beseiju seems like it would be good in the matchup. Maybe like a Stirrings. Could honestly be another Null Drifter too. I don't mind that. The games are kind of like going to go long on average, so I don't mind cutting a couple of these. Okay, so we've got a Dismember, 2 Talismans, or 2 Dismembers, 2 Talismans, a Stirrings. Yeah, I think I could keep this. A lot of good hits off Stirrings here. Okay, so turn 1, they play a Water Grape tapped. Pick up a Mystical Dispute here, so let's go. Because we have 2 Talismans, I'm just going to take a basic Forest. I'm going to be planning to pay a lot of life off of these Dismembers, so I want to keep it a little bit high. I don't want to fetch Shock. Labyrinth is awesome here. Labyrinth is awesome because next turn we get to go play Talisman, Dismember, hold up, Dispute, or just play both Talismans and play a Dismember. Drowsy Temple too. Okay, these are some pretty good draws. Would you like to counter this Talisman? Would you like to counter this Talisman? Okay, your turn. If they play Bowmasters here, I think my plan is to just hold up Dispute anyways. I think. Okay, they don't play Bowmasters. Okay, so they are maybe the Grixis list. Yep, looting. Discard Oculus and sink into Stupor, and they say go. Alright. Not a bad spot for us here, honestly. Draw another Mystical Dispute. Yeah, I mean, this is honestly seems like a really good spot for us, right? They've got 3 cards in hand. We've just got 4 interactive spells, and we're drawing into, like, a ton of insane haymakers. I mean, this seems like a really kind of where our deck wants to be. So I could play the Sire into a counter spell, or I could play more defensively. The other part about playing Sire here aggressively like this is that if they make an Archon, it's actually kind of bad for me too, right? If they make an Archon, I just sack it. So between that and playing into counterspell, I think it makes a little bit more sense to play defensively here. Because like they're I'm not going to be dying super soon with my hand being this, right? I mean the disputes are losing a little bit of value because they're pretty happy to play land go here, but we'll kick this if they have a consign. It is what it is. Um, still are able to hold up dispute this way or dismember. Okay, I think they have counterspell because it looked like they thought about doing something and then they maybe realized it wasn't. So I'm gonna take Labyrinth here and imprint Desire, and the reason why is if I do this, I can hard cast Mystical Dispute. So if they like put Persist on the stack and have like an Archon of the Yard somehow, I can deal with it that way, which I think is going to be important. Um, and then also like I can hide the Sire from like Thoughtseize. If they Thoughtseize me here, I can say sure, and I can pick up this Sire and then hard cast it and then hold up Dispute. Seems like a good spot to be in. Okay, so they say go here. So I think I will pick up the Sire. Go to combat first. Just see if I can make them spend mana. If I make them spend mana for Bowmasters or something, maybe they don't. You know, Wait to make them spend mana before I play my thing that I can do for Dispute. So we're not playing the Talisman first because we want to be able to cast Dispute here. If they counterspell, I'm going to dispute that. Mystically, of course. Mystical Dispute. Okay, so I made him burn 2 counterspells there. And kind of important also in that turn because if I wait a turn and they have an untapped land and I dispute their counterspell, they might just pay. Yep, they got the Oculus. They get one thing. I'll be able to dismember it. They'll get one manifest out of it, which is fine. I think it was a good spot there to try to go for it. Okay, so you can each opponent's upkeep manifest dread. Yes, you do that. Null Drifter, perfect. All right, so we are going to hardcast Null Drifter. Do I want to hardcast Null Drifter first, or do I want to? I think it's really important that this thing dies, so it might actually make sense to go Dismember first, and that way, if they have like a Force Negation as their last 2 cards, I'll just dispute that real quick. Like I just need to make sure the board's clear, you know. It's like if they have Mystical Dispute, I'm just gonna or if they have Force Negation, I'm just gonna blow this dispute. They don't, okay. Or if they did, they chose not to cast it. All right, so now we're gonna hard cast our Null Drifter. If they have consign, they have to choose. Are they going to let me have a 4/4, or are they going to let me have 2 cards? If they have consign, they can't stop both here. So if they, okay, they concede. All right, okay. So that was a pretty convincing first round. All right, we found our match. Let's see. So I could go. Turn 1, Surveil. Turn 2, Breeding Pool, or this probably Gemstone into Talisman with Dismember. And I'm building up to a Kozilek's Command. Alright. Portent. I'm going to keep Portent here. So if I go turn 2 Talisman, Dismember your play. I Kozilek's Command. Yeah, I could keep that. Kozilek's Command, make some tokens, exile something into a big Portent, or even if it's like a grindy deck, if they deal with my Kozilek's Command, I just have that as another follow-up. Seems reasonable to keep there. Dragon's Rage Channeler. Alright. So we are going to go Talisman. We're going to dismember that right now before they can get any surveils. If they play another 1-drop, I'll probably just play the Breeding Pool tapped and maybe exile and scry, just look for another land. But if they play like a Slick Shot, obviously I'll just shock it in. And I'll probably exile it and make 2 tokens. Maybe we'll see. See what their exact deck is. Another DRC. Okay. And a Blazing Root Walla. Sure. Another Breeding Pool. So we're at 14. We have 4 cards. So if I shock, I go to 14. Yeah, I think it actually is probably worth it to shock here. And just exile, make 2. Create and exile. Because like if they don't kill any of my stuff, which obviously they might lava dart, but like if they lava dart, that's even honestly not the worst for me. Just because like the position the game's in right now, it wouldn't be the worst. They're not like having a bunch of prowess shit and going crazy on it. They're sacking a land and would like still need follow up turns, so I actually wouldn't mind. But if I portend for 6, I have a decent chance to be able to cast something for free. Obviously not a guarantee. But I'm just gonna take the 3 here. I think I just kind of need to hope on this portent hitting. Yep, pump the Root Walla, sure. I could also just draw Sire 7 Deaths for turn. Would be a good draw. Another Root Walla, sure. Okay, Moment of Truth here. Ooze Labyrinth to be a good draw too. Emrakul, not exactly what I was hoping to draw. Probably would have been better on top of the deck, right? Okay, so with Portent. This is our only play, so worth shocking in because we need to find something. So we need as many types as possible, or as many looks. Look at my top 6. Kozilek's Command, Eldrazi Temple, Portent, and Null Drifter. Okay. Choose those 4. I'll cast Null Drifter for free. So, still might die here, unfortunately. But if we get to untap, hopefully we can Kozilek's Command, scry a bunch, and Portent, and really try to set up a huge play. And we have a blocker. I mean, if they have like 2 bolts in their hand, we're dead. But if they have like more like creatures and baubles and stuff like that, like stuff that they have to untap and attack again with, that would be good for us. If they have stuff that's doing us damage this turn, it'll be rough, you know? See what they have here. Another land. Okay. Yeah, if we draw No Drifter and had the Emrakul instead, we would have casted Emrakul if we hit Sire there. That would have been awesome. But honestly, this is still not the worst spot to be in. Fear of missing out. Okay. Discard Vengevine. Wow. Okay. Cycle Street Wraith. Close. I'm probably gonna have to deal with that FOMO next turn. Next turn, I might have to go exile FOMO. Make if I get to it next turn. Ragavan Dash. Wow. Okay. So I could trade here. I go to 5. They get a treasure. What would my plan be? Next turn, I can Kozilek's come in for 4. No, that's not even that good. Hmm. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to trade here, take next turn exile the FOMO, make tokens, block, untap, portent. I think is my line that I'm supposed to do. Because I could also go exile. I could go exile, create, and cast Yggdrasil. I have two. No, that's too sketchy. I need to just. Trying our best to stay alive over here. It's a little scary. Yeah, this is not looking good for us. I gotta exile and make. I gotta exile and make, and I can jump. I basically have to jump everything except the Ragavan, or I might jump everything because it's risky with what's it called? If they have a bolt. If I don't block everything, I die to a bolt. They have 1 card in hand. But also, if they get mana, they might have something else. I think I'm supposed to block everything here. I don't really know. I'm a little bit scared. Okay, Mishra's Bauble is their last card. Which, in fairness, they could still have drawn a bolt on my upkeep, so. So honestly, Ugin's Labyrinth would be an amazing draw here just to give us an extra 2 looks. Any untapped land here would be good. Okay. Alright, we're going to do the thing again. X is a lot. What is X? X is 7. Alright, please. Please. I've gotta hit 4 types and either an Emrakul or a Sire, basically. I think are my ways to not die here. Yep, okay, Sire. Eldrazi Temple. Kozilek's Command. Yggdrasil. Okay. Cast the Sire for free. Discard this Emrakul so I can shuffle some of that stuff back in because there's a lot of good stuff in my yard right now. Don't need multiples, and then also having Emrakuls in deck is better for if I start spinning Yggdrasil. I guess I still would die to bolt if they just bolt whatever I block. I'll block the Vengevine, that way it's the hardest for them to kill in theory. They can't Bowmasters it. Yep. Unfortunate. So they did find the bolt anyways. So the other line I took, if I didn't block, I still would have died to that bolt. That's unfortunate. Yeah, if I hit the Emrakul there, I probably would have been in the driver's seat. I think there is definitely a lot of hands where I still would have been able to win if they don't have. I think they basically just have to have the bolt there, but they did, so fair play to them. Alright, so we definitely want the Dismember. Tormod's Crypt probably is good enough to slow them down. Although it's awkward because they still have stuff they can do without it, but I think a couple of those Null Drifters, they're just not good enough to put in play. This Beseiju is a bit slow, and, Panda Life against them is not great. And then probably just cut a Portent, as it's a little bit of one of the later game cards, and by the time we get to that point, So we'll see. It was a close game. It's close, and yeah, like drawing that Emrakul there was lame too, because yeah, if it was like one more card down and we cast the Emrakul there, it'd be pretty sweet. I would like to play first. Turn 2 Yggdrasil. We got a Tormod script. All right. We don't have any colored mana, but we got one of our better plays on turn 2, and we need to draw any land to activate it. Talisman's a good draw too, right? We're playing the Labyrinth first, and the reason why is because if they Thought Seize us, they can't take the Emrakul to leave our Labyrinth stranded. I mean, they probably would take the Yggdrasil, but may as well not give them the choice, right? What if they have Thought Seize and a Destroy Artifact? They might choose the Emrakul because they're not as worried about the Yggdrasil or something. I don't know. And then by that same token, just playing the Tormod script to give them less choice on their discard outlet if they play Thoughtseize. Meltdown. Okay. So does that mean they have another one in their hand if they, or they just don't care about the Tormod script? Look at my top card. Okay. Portent is not one of our better draws here, but we will play this Yggdrasil. Alright, so, yeah, really want to draw a land here for sure. Drawing any green source would be pretty nice. Go Micah Spawn into probably like a hedge maze maybe or something. You just get that surveil value. Unlock double colors. Ragavan Dash, okay. If you're going to 17, I mean, could be a lot worse, a lot scarier of a turn 2, you know? Like, they could have done Vengevine shit and put us way lower by now, technically. What do they got? Another DRC, okay. Can we find anything good off Yggdrasil? In our first look. Nope. Land and 2 spells. Alright, so really want to find a... Okay, Talisman works. So we can go Talisman, Stirrings. Try to find another land here. Find Eldrazi Temple, Sire of 7 Deaths. For another Talisman. So I don't have mana to cast Kozilek's Command. I think it makes sense to take the Temple here. Because the reason why is that sets me up for, you know, I get a lot of looks at Sire this way too, in the sense of if I find a Sire off Yggdrasil or if I draw a Sire, you know, I can hard cast it. I can also go like Michael Spawn, kick, and maybe slow down a little bit that way. So I think if they get to be 3/3s, we probably have to pop the crypt on their attack just to not die. I think, yeah, I think we probably have to just to save some life. Basically, I'm sacking this Tormod's crypt to gain 4 life. I mean, they have to get Delirium again at some point. It'd be a little bit harder, but they got 2 DRCs, so it's not going to be an arduous task for them to get Delirium again. But I think I just need to keep the life total high here. Hope to hit Namorkor or a Sire off this Iggy. They hit an Ancient Stirrings, and they are casting Ancient Stirrings. Terrific. Cast Ancient Stirrings, mill Vengevine for free. What the fuck, dude? That's so messed up. They find their 3rd land here too, probably, that they need. Or maybe another Mishra's Bauble, I guess they could take. How messed up would it be if they took like Pithing Needle and they were like, oh no, take Hollow One! No! Bro! No! That's crazy, dude. What the fuck? Alright, so if they're passing turn here, I think that means we're We're clear for takeoff if we hit Emrakul or if we hit. Oh, okay. Yep, they got 6 permanents. Well, it'll be 5 here in a second. So do we hit Emrakul or Sire? Nope. Down to Dismember. Do I go? Do I go kick, and then dismember one of them? I think so. I can do that, and I can actually if I want to get. Oh yeah, I can. I have to do it this way. This would be a spot. Bajuka Bog was a sideboard card I'd considered. This would be a spot where Bajuka Bog would be a cool card to get, right? Get the Benvine out of there too, and ramp up a little bit. So we're gonna take that. Get a Hedge Maze and Surveil. Get ourselves another look at a creature. Okay, well you're good for next turn. If there is a next turn, which obviously no guarantee. But the cool thing about this too is last game they beat us with that lightning bolt thing, but if we get the Yggdrasil haste now, I'm just gonna get my F6 value in. I don't care. Technically, I should probably. Actually, yeah, that was probably bad because technically I could draw it and hardcast it if they like kill this, but I don't know why I did that technically. Actually, like I said, I wanted my F6 value, but at what cost? That was technically a misplay. FOMO. Okay. All right. Well, that's. I was expecting. Oh, okay. Well, this is how they get Vengevine. Sure, that's wrong. I'm just gonna chump the Vengevine then, right? Keep the life total high. I'll be able to go to 14 here. 14, and they have to deal with Sire unless they have a way to kill it. Yep. Yep. This is the kind of game we're looking for. This kind of play. So, but yeah, that would have been a hard punish though because if they went Ancient Grudge here and I drew Emrakul instead of drawing Sire, that was really bad. I need to make sure to not do that in the future. I'm glad I didn't get punished for it here, but that would have been a really annoying way to lose the game. I mean, I still would have been able to cast a Portent and maybe done something, but you know, definitely prefer my spot here. They go to 9, I go to 14, and then if they do deal with the Sire, they have to put themselves to 2. Which means that as long as I don't die, I can get the Snowdrifter in there and fly over. If they hypothetically went like, I don't even know what they could really have that would kill the Sire in their green red deck. For some reason, I was thinking they were like going to be Jund at first. I was talking about Thoughtseize early. I mean, I guess it's when it's free to play around, you may as well play around it anyways. But I was for some reason thinking they were going to be like a little bit different of a deck. I don't know why I thought that, but probably just because of other decks I played against. Not thinking that I should be thinking about what I've actually seen and not what other people have done. Discard double Spyro. I mean, they're at 7. They can't target my Sire anymore. This thing has First Strike, Vigilance, Menace, Trample, Reach, Lifelink, and Ward, pay 7 life, so I don't... I'd be surprised if I lost here. Because, like, they don't have a good... Yeah, they must attack. I must block. Well, I don't have to, but I think it might be a good play. Thank you. Second main? If they're gonna do that, why not do that anyways? Because then, like, if I'm gonna choose to block the DRC anyways, why not also the Vengevine? You know? Oh my god! Oh my god! All at ones! Holy shit, dude! All right. So I think we're just gonna attack, and then we are gonna portent. I think portenting with, especially drawing the labyrinth, is gonna be better than no drifter. I accept these terms. All right. So let's hit Emrakul this time, shall we? Then if we miss here, then that means that we also have another 3 looks on Yggdrasil. The reason I attacked here too is because if I find another Yggdrasil, I could cast that Yggdrasil and I could exile the Sire under it. Okay, so I missed on a free cast. Oh no, I didn't. Creature, sorcery, and then I think I will take that other Yggdrasil. Do I want that, or do I want the Graveyard Hate? No, no, the Tormod's Crypt is probably so good here, right? Never mind. What am I thinking? I can cast the Tormod's Crypt here for free, too. I think I just want to hit it now, too, so I don't even have the Faithless Looting. That way, if they get a less than ideal draw, they're kind of stuck with it. FOMO. Draw a card for free. Alright. Literally have no good attacks. Oh, there's Emrakul. Nice. That's cool. Very, very nice of you to show up here. Appreciate you. Alright. Game 3. Looks like my computer's gonna lag out here for a second. There we go. Cool. That was nice of him to show up there. I mean, I think even if we didn't, what were we gonna do there? We were gonna Kozilek's command for scry a bunch, make a bunch of tokens, and then portent. It was gonna be pretty hard to not hit Emrakul there. I think. The way that we could have set up our scries and stuff. So so Haywire Might, unfortunately, it can't hit FOMO or Hollow One. That's something I should maybe think about in the future if this deck gets more popular. If I play Wastegate Battle Mage, I could get that off Ancient Stirrings also, and I could hit Hollow One or FOMO. maybe that's something I'll consider in the future. There's pros and cons to both, obviously, you know. But also the fact that I could technically even do the bounce, you know, maybe comes up here and there. I think I still like how I'm sideboarded, so I'm gonna hit some at deck. We're on the draw here too, so we got some extra value on gemstone caverns if you find that. So we can ancient stirrings. We get a lot of looks at a 7 to play a turn 2 Yggdrasil. I think I'm down for that. Even talisman would be like reasonable. We're gonna try to keep the lights a little bit high. See if maybe we get turns where we can sneak these breeding pools in tapped. If the game gets to that point, we'll find out. Really big to hit a 7 here. No 7 is unfortunate. So I can take a talisman or I can take a Kozilek's command. So if I take talisman, I'd cast it next turn. It wouldn't really be doing much. If I take Kozilek's command, I have more upside too. If I draw, draw Temple, I can cast it. Or if I draw 7, I can cast that over the Yggdrasil. So I've got 10 sevens left in my deck, and I've got 4 Temple. I got 14 draws, and I know that I'm also putting 4 cards that aren't that on the bottom too. I think it makes sense to take Kozilek's command here. I think that makes more sense than the talisman with how my hand's set up. Even something like if I draw 7 and go Labyrinth, exile Avengevine from the yard and hit a Ragavan, that might be critical in getting me some more turns. Really would have loved to hit a 7 there off of that stirrings though. But what can you do? Feeling like this one might, Blood Moon. So interestingly enough, with having some Yggdrasils in my hand, that's not the worst. You know what I mean? Because if their hand is slow, and I just Yggdrasil into like a Sire or Emrakul next turn, like it might actually be better for me than if they're just like fucking pushing my shit in. Like yeah, if they're putting me to 15 this turn, this is actually might be better for me. And this is one of those things too where like it's so Blood Moon's so weird against these decks nowadays. Like obviously I can still lose if I just don't hit anything off Yggdrasil or they have an out or they kill me or whatever. But like I'm still at 15 life, and I was expecting to be at like barely any life right now. It's just an interesting spot to be in, I guess. If I would have known they had Blood Moon, then yeah, taking the Talisman would have felt a lot better here, huh? But I think the rationale I had made sense. Honestly, I wasn't even considering if they untap and play Blood Moon, but I think partly why is because just in my head I'm normally like not too worried about Blood Moon on average because this card's really good. You know, your opponent plays that on turn 3, you play this on turn 3, and it's like, what do they? They have Meltdown for 3. Sure. So hedge maze. Drawing an island or a talisman would be nice. Yeah, I really wish. Yeah, imagine if I had this talisman instead. I would be like, I would be so in the driver's seat. If this turn I played talisman Yggdrasil, and then like I guess if they had meltdown, it'd be the same difference. But I'd be able to like untap and start jamming Portents for a bunch, and just like find something to do that way. If they had import in Haywire Might. Imagine if they hit Haywire Might here and fucking hit my Yggdrasil. Oh no, Sowing Micah Spawn. That would have been a good draw. That would have let me get my island. No. Sowing Micah Spawn would have actually been gas. Block your Ragavan and get an island? Fuck. Wouldn't have minded that at all. Do they have another meltdown? I mean, if their hand's this slow, they kind of have to, right? And they're sacking treasures too, yeah. Hardcast Vengevine, okay. Vicious Bobble. Alright, spin to win, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Do they have an out? Do they have Force of Vigor in my upkeep? Spin to win? Spin to win? Can I go to my main phase one, please? Please? Oh my goodness, let's go. Gang's all here. Combat. Trigger. I love how they're sacrificing like they're not at 12. Okay, can I go to damage step, please? Opponent, would you like to block? Nope. Okay. Let's go. Let's go. This deck is so sick. This deck is so sick, dude. Oh my gosh, that was an awesome win. And even if I didn't hit Emrakul there, hitting Sire would have been nice too. But yeah, we did kind of have to hit, but we had eight creatures to hit there off Yggdrasil. You know, decent amount. And we maybe had one more turn too, right? If we were at 11, we maybe would have went to 6, or we would have went to 5. So maybe depending what their hand was, we could have got one more spin. That technically either of those maybe still would have been able to win us. But yeah, that was awesome. Sweet, time for round 3. Oh, we found an opponent. Don't think this hand will be doing it. It's not great either, but the hand's close. Is it, you know, my other option is go to 5. Go to 5 or keep a hand that has colored sources and talismans as a good draw. Yggdrasil is a good draw. Kozilek's Command as a good draw. It's weird, but I think it ends up being right. Green Sun for 0. Alright, well, we'll just put this Emrakul here a while because we don't really need him. And say go. Drawing a blue source here would be insane. Mystery Enforced. Another temple. Alright. I mean, No Drifter might just be going on the stack here before too long, right? Just here's my 7-drop. They seem like they might be a little bit of a slower deck. Basic Island, Shifting Woodlands, Primal Prayers. All right, maybe not so slow. This only counts for, yeah, only. Aloran counts both players. Oh my goodness, dude. Yeah, this is really unfortunate, but honestly, I think it made more sense than mulling to 5. Like there was a lot of upside in that hand, you know. Like imagine if I drew Talisman in like the first draw or two, or like a fetch, it would have been pretty decent. So it's hard to say. Honestly, even if I rip a land right now and just start, nope. Let's say if I rip the land, and just started a chain of micro spawns, you know that'd even be pretty good here still. I think. Point flashes in 6. Okay. Yes, player. Point has flashed in 6. I don't know why. I just wasn't expecting that. It just made me laugh. Ranger, Captain of Eos. Oh yeah, so their deck's pretty cool, right? And they can cast. Yeah, they can cast. What's it called for free? Yeah, they're gonna get me here. I'm pretty sure. Or from one more other creature you control leaves battlefield without dying, draw a card. One a blue tap return. Okay, that's better. All right. Do we have to try to just big dick and Emrakul here? Because I don't think there's a chance that playing this or playing this, they're not going to kill us when they on top. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm getting the vibe that we kind of just got to go. It's so not likely to hit, but I'm pretty sure that we're like gonna get combo killed otherwise. If we hit it here, we're winning a game we did not deserve to win because it's not likely to hit on an X's 4. It's not likely to hit anything as a free cast. I think. Okay. Also, they just have the kill now. So this is infinite life alone on that, and then they also draw their deck. So yeah, they just slow rolled me. All right. Okay. No worries. We have been slow rolled in round 3 of our modern league that we had to keep a sketchy 6 of. I mean, sometimes you just get got, right? Okay. So the good news is I think our functional hands are probably pretty good against this deck on average. So don't mind being in this matchup anyways, even though we're down a game. I don't know that I haven't played the matchup, but just thinking about how the decks play out, like I've got a lot of cool stuff here. I can hit prayers. Um, more removal. I can stone brain prayers too if I need to. I don't know if I want to go the stone brain route though because I don't know what all I want to cut. My guess is that Sire's a little bit less good here because, like, it's not as much about life total. Sage, you can probably come out. One Null Drifter, probably one Michael Spawn. We'll try that. Cool deck. I haven't seen much Primal Prayers recently, but I used to mess around with a couple ideas of it back in the day. But them flashing in six was pretty sick. Zane has a lot of removal. We've got a stirrings too, so we get a lot of looks at our dual end. I think we keep this. We get to look at five cards for Eldrazi Temple or Ugin's Labyrinth. I think it makes sense. Now, normally, I would wonder if they play Night of the White Orchid, and I would fetch for or whatever White Orchid Phantom. I mean, I would fetch for a breeding pool, but because I have two dismembers, I think I actually like need to keep my life total a little bit up. So miss on any land in five cards doesn't seem incredibly likely. That's fine though. We'll take an old drifter. Michael Spawn would be the nicest if we spike our one of our soul lands, but I think the fact that I can like dismember something and then draw like a Misty Rainforest even and evoke an old drifter is nice. Maybe being a little bit conservative, but I feel like I can afford myself those draw steps with my hand being double dismember. With my hand being triple dismember. So yeah, if we lose this one because we didn't draw a land next turn, I'm gonna feel like we maybe had a little bit of a low variance round. I don't know. Maybe a mulligan not there, but to not hit any land off Ancient Stirrings, I feel like is not likely. But maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty yeah, I don't know. Pretty annoying, I guess would be the word to say. That's no land in seven cards, right? Because I was on the play. Yep, so I took two draw steps and the stirrings. Yep, so that's no lands in seven. All right, we're gonna take this one on the chin. Okay. Instead, we're gonna reduce our life total by a lot. It feels not great. Triple dismember, no third land. Come on, huge draw step here. Honestly, I think even if we drew pretty perfect from here, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, sure. Talisman. Okay. I'm gonna take some draws after this game's over. I'm just curious how long I had till land. Whew. Yeah, this is honestly probably the first time I've lost a match by like just having this much issues with like not drawing lands or whatever. Yep, so then they draw their whole deck this way. Yep, that's unfortunate, man. All right. Well, we got our round 4 here. You can go turn 2 Talisman. Got Colorless Man for 1. This actually would be a hand where if we were on the play, it'd be a little bit better, maybe. Or if we were on the draw. I think we can do better on 6. All right. I mean, two stirrings will give us a lot of looks at what we're trying to find, which would just be soul lands, basically. We'll put the Emrakul back because the Emrakul doesn't. That's always going to be the worst card. In hand, Emrakul is basically just put it under Ugin's Labyrinth, unless every once in a blue moon, you find something else. But all right, so we'll take the Temple here. Put it at the bottom. But like, yeah, every once in a blue moon you'll hard cast it. Besides that, just throw it away. Shadowy Backstreet. Where do they surveil? On top of library. Okay. We find a lab here, so we'll go stirrings again, see what we can find. Kozilek's Command seems good here. And we will put one of these no drifters under a while. Let's go. Hopefully they play like an Ajani here. That would be like a good matchup. Psychic Frog. Okay. Do you have Force Negation? I could go Exile the Frog, hardcast Yggdrasil if I just go Exile Make. Sounds kind of good. No, we do have Force Negation. Well, nothing I can do about that. That's pretty unfortunate, though. Yeah, I mean, I think that's my best line. I don't really know how far I'm supposed to play around Force Negation. Do I untap and do it, and then let them spell pierce me or something, and then not use my mana? Like on the Yggdrasil that turn to set that up. It's hard to know. All right, well, we're gonna play Yggdrasil. Okay, that resolves. Not sure how much artifact removal they play main deck. I wouldn't guess a whole bunch. I just got to spin to win. Actually, not the worst spot too, because if I hit a Sire, I mean Sire blocks the Psychic Frog pretty good and would kill Tameo. So even that's reasonable. 4 colors, okay. Traxa. You're playing 4 color Gorios. Wow. Okay. They got Leyline Binding. Alright, fair enough. Yeah, that them having that force negation there was super huge. Really huge, but was worried I'll get those disputes, which will probably help there, and probably get the Tormod's Crypts. Let's see. Dispute, Dismember, Tormod's Crypt. So I want to bring in all that. That's a lot. They do have Leyline Binding, so maybe the Emrakul stuff's not as crazy. I kind of just want to trim the Dismembers, like Tameo, Psychic Frog. What else? Tameo, Psychic Frog. Oh, and they have Emperor Bones. Yeah, I kind of do want Dismember for sure. I think we'll just try trimming. Try this. I've kind of felt like there's not really a card in this deck where you just are like, I really want to cut this card, unless it's like Dismember, and you like obviously just don't want Dismember because they're not playing creatures at all. But like besides that, I've kind of felt like it's I don't really know sideboarding wise. It to me it feels the most intuitive, just kind of trim stuff and just like okay, the games are going to go long. Like I'm gonna still end up seeing everything eventually because of the distribution, But like I just want like some extra like good pieces. This would be another good spot where if I had Bajuka Bog on my sideboard, it would be strong, right? It'd be strong here. So I'm gonna play the Tormod Script on turn one. It plays into Prismatic Ending, I guess, but if I hold it, plays into Thoughtseize. So kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. But yeah, being able to get Bajuka Bog here would be good too. I might try it in the board, especially like that or that graveyard decks are pretty important right now. Or pretty relevant, I should say. Okay, so we'll play Talisman. See if that resolves. Okay. Cameo. Okay. I drenched that friend. What if he didn't have a cameo anymore? That'd be kind of cool. Alright, so opponent missing a land drop here. I mean, that's obviously not ideal for them. So my plan here is to go get a temple off of this first Michael Spawn. That way I can kick Michael Spawn next turn on their land, because I mean. And then I will get a Beseiju on the second one for Portent. That way they can't force negation it. And yeah, that should be a pretty good game plan, hopefully. And I have the Stormhouse script in play too, so I can, you know, hopefully they won't be doing anything too crazy. Even if they maybe what's their best play? If they untap, draw a land, and have double consign, counter both Micah Spawn things, I still keep a creature probably. If they have one consign only, they're probably just going to consign to hit the land, I would guess, and let me get my Beseiju. Mystical Speech could draw too, huh? Yeah, I would guess their best play here is they're going to consign the exile your land. Okay, they did not have consign, so they conceded. They consigned from the game. All right. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like they did get unlucky. I'm not gonna lie. They got unlucky there. All right. I think I liked what I had going on that game. We'll try that again. Yeah. I mean, in fairness, our last round we lost off kind of getting screwed on land, so happens to the best of us, right? We win some that way, we lose some that way, and I'm not drawing the best hand here for lands. This hand we can keep though. Yeah, this hand's pretty awesome, right? We can put back. We'll probably put back the sire. Yeah, we'll put back the sire here. We'll have a lot of looks at Tormod's Crypt. We'll have a dispute, some draws. Yeah, I can see this being alright. Turn one Tamio here is going to be annoying though. Oh no, they have looting. Okay, so if they looting here and they discard Atraxa, yeah, I think we're gonna have to Stirrings turn one and try to dig for Tormod's Crypt. If they didn't do that, I would have tried to hold up the dispute, but I think I really want to try to stop a Gorios. I think I can beat them frogging once or twice more than I can beat an early Atraxa. Found none of those things. Found no lands either. That's a second no land stirrings. That's actually kind of wild. All right, well we're gonna take the Kazakhs again though. Oh wow, they missed a land again. That's crazy. All right. So I don't want them to get in a weird spot where they play a land and hold up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna exile the Atraxa right now and scry. It feels kind of weird, but uh, like otherwise, what am I gonna do if they play a land as they go? Am I gonna Kozilek to try to find my land and then them blow me out with the Gorios? Also not a land. Okay, that is a land. All right, nice. So now next turn we can even go Null Drifter, Evoke, and Hold Up Dispute. Maybe they conceded. All right. Well, we lost a game three or round three because we didn't really draw much lands. So I guess to win one in the same way is fine. Not the most eventful content, but we're 3-1. We're 3-1, I guess. So that works. All right. Yeah, we'll take that. All right. It is time for round five. See if we will either go 3-2 or if we'll go 4-1. Our round four that we just won here was a little bit uneventful. Given that we won off of some missed land drops and we lost around three off a bunch of missed land drops or some land issues rather. So goes both ways there. At least the first two matches were pretty nice though. All right, we got a match pretty quick too. Let's go. Who is our opponent here? Versus Gomblewop. Oh, we've got two Gemstone Caverns. Nice. So we keep and we go Gemstone Caverns. Now this is something you want to a lesson for everybody here on Moto. What you want to do here, you want to be very careful when you have two Gemstone Caverns in your hand because if you do the wrong thing, you can fuck yourself over. When it says pregame effects, it will say Watch. Perform any opening hand actions. You click this one. You do not click the other one. If you click the other one, it will also put it in play. You'll have to exile 2 cards and sacrifice 1. You want to hit OK, and then you want to exile the Gemstone Caverns after you hit OK. Because I did that one time and I really screwed myself over, and I was so mad because I lost a game that, like, it seemed pretty unlikely I would lose. And it was because of that, you know. Another Kozilek's command, okay. I mean, this is a decent spot to be in. I can make a token and scry, and if I find a soul land, I can even just kick a microspawn. See what they do here. Talisman of Impulse, okay. Ancient Stirrings, alright, so it's another Eldrazi deck. Are they just are they actually Teamer, or are they just using this as like another green talisman? Find Ugin's Labyrinth, okay. Alright. Strong stuff going on over there. We will scry 1, and we will make a dude. Stirrings. I think I want to draw something a little bit better naturally, if I can. Alright, so we'll just take this turn to Microspawn. And we'll go get a lab. Slap an Ember, go under it. Here we go. Yeah, it would have been really sick to draw like a temple or a lab that turn and just go like Microspawn your land, next turn Microspawn your land. That would have been pretty sick. Still drawing an untapped land here. I could do that, especially if they play the lab and do something with it. Okay, they got World Breaker. Wow. Okay. I guess World Breaker off Malevolent Rumble's pretty sweet, right? You put World Breaker in the graveyard and then you get it back later in the game. It's actually kind of cool. I like that. I actually hadn't thought about that, but I could see that being strong. Like obviously in like certain matchups, you know, against Hollow One, you ain't got time for that shit. Although against Hollow One, I mean, it has reach and it exiles a Hollow One when you cast it. I don't know. Not as good as the Sire. What do they do? They got Lab Imprint. They Microspawn here too, probably. I hate that my moto lag sometimes. If it gets laggy at all in this video, sorry y'all. Alright, well we're just gonna keep jamming Microspawns, I guess. I mean, if I can get the Sire down, depending on what all they have going on in their build, Sire might be good. You know, if they're more just like ramp mid range kind of, you know. I mean, hell, even with Emrakul 13, if they want a suicide, they still got a double block, you know. All right, got Kozilek for 2 here. Kozilek for 1. Uh, does it not make more sense to sack the Scion and just do it for 2 and then just scry 2 instead of scrying 1? You still get your other Scion back? Am I wrong, or did that make way more sense than what my opponent did? If I'm wrong, let me know, but a little confused there. Oracle the Promised Land. Alright, so I have to cycle this because otherwise they can just make me scry a bunch of really bad cards on top of my deck in a row, which would not be good for me. If they just go like, okay, you draw like whatever's the worst thing for you. Oh no, another Kozilek's Command. Oh no. I guess I can still maybe beat it anyways, but that's annoying that they can Kozilek's Command me for a bunch. See what they do here. I think I'm probably gonna lose though, but who knows? One is very carefully considering all options here. Very, very careful consideration. Opponent, please cast a spell or don't. Just don't make me wait. They've decided that I will return Emrakul to my hand. Yep, they are making me scry. Oh, they're making them get tokens. Oh, wow, look at them. Oh, they're making them scry as well. Okay, alright. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's fair. I was thinking they were just going to screw over my draws, but yeah, that's fair. Alright, yeah, I think I've seen enough here. Seems good. Alright, so consign to memory. Yes, please. Definitely want you. This is like the only matchup though where I'm bringing in Consign that I've really played against. So I want Haywire Might for Emrakul, or not Haywire Might, Stonebrain to name like Emrakul 13. Um, that's probably fine. Oh my goodness, my moto closed. Oh my gosh. What in the world? Oh no, this is not good. My moto literally closed on me. They were like, nah, dude, you don't get a game two. That's crazy. I have no clue why I did that, bro. I'm so salty. Alright, I would like to play first. I'd appreciate you asking me, Moto. Alright, hopefully we get a better hand. Yep, this one will do it. We'll keep this one. Double Temple Kozilek's Command is a good hand for sure. If I draw a land in the interim, I might like if I draw a land on turn one or turn two rather, I might even play the Talisman instead. But if I don't, I'm definitely gonna Kozilek's Command and try to scry for a green or a blue source or a green source. Yeah. Got Ubin's Lab. Okay. I could play around Consign to Memory by Kozilek's Commanding now if I know I'm gonna do it anyways. I could play around it by doing that, so I'm gonna do that. Another Kozilek's Command and a Stonebrain, huh? Guess I'll keep the command. Tons of Kozilek's Commands, huh? Alright, we're gonna scry and make dudes, which the scry here is actually not that bad because we get to look for a land, and also if we find something to put under Yggdrasil, we can do that too. That's actually not that bad to burn it here. I'm gonna I'm gonna fetch, so it doesn't matter. Pretty cool. Get the talisman down a while. Play Yggdrasil. See you. And either we find something cool off Yggdrasil, or maybe we kick a Micah Spawn. It's awkward because if they have Kozilek's command, they can maybe kick Micah Spawn our way. If they go Kozilek's command and then Labyrinth pitch. If they have Micah Spawn, though, they might still be thinking about, do they have a way to kill the Yggdrasil, because, they might be worried about Micah spawning me and then I still put in an Emrakul. Portent is again carefully considering all options. Nothing wrong with that. Decided to play their land that taps for 2 mana. Smart. Pistol Rain. Okay. Targeting me. Okay. Take your pick. What you want? Oh, I guess I should have probably activated Yggdrasil first, right? Yeah, that was dumb. I should have activated Yggdrasil first because if I randomly exiled an Emrakul there, I'd still be able to have it. That was dumb. Drew can sign a memory off of them taking the Emrakul from my hand. All right, that's actually pretty cool. Take that one. Give it a spin here. We hit a Sire 7 deaths. Okay. How about we go Micro Spawn your land and put in a Sire this turn? Does that sound good to y'all? I'm okay with that line. That sounds like a strong one. Put down the Consign Shield for a second. But that's okay. Alright. Haste my sire, and he's here to stay. Combat. Jeez, and then my hand after this is consigned plus Kozilek's command? What the fuck? Yeah, it'd be a hard game to lose. Don't want to jinx it, but thinking about their build, I don't even know how they really get over Sire besides Emerald 13 shenanigans. Because, like, World Breaker and Devourer, Destinies are smaller than it. I didn't get to cast the second one and still hold up Consign. I mean, yeah, just putting a couple Sires in play. What could go wrong? Yeah. I'm gonna let you have it because I only really care about like signing triggers and shit. If you sack them and cast something, and I just consign whatever you casted, like, it don't really matter. I don't even really know what they have that would get over this, anyways. Except that if they sack all their shit and cast Emrakul, and I consign they take my turn, you know, I still get in for lethal and make them tap out and commit to that line. So seems fine to just let it resolve. But yeah, they didn't have anything anyways. All right, well that was a cool game. Uh, yeah, I think I still kind of like doing the same thing sideboard wise. We'll go again. But yeah, I definitely should have tapped the Yggdrasil just in case I hit that Emrakul. Not that I would have hit it, but I mean hitting the Sire there was still awesome though. And then hit your land and haste the Sire on you was definitely pretty awesome. I was thinking about switching because they Stone Brain be a little bit higher on something else, but honestly, I think having an early Yggdrasil into Emrakul is just such a free win that I may as well keep it. I mean, yeah, Stirrings gets me a bunch of looks at an Yggdrasil, so seems like a fun keep. Oh, or I can just find Yggdrasil. Oh, that works too. Take a Temple or a Microspawn. Take an Microspawn, I think. Rumble. Okay. What do they take? Take Eldrazi Temple. Okay. Alright, well, I'm going to cast my artifact here. It would be rough if they could have a microspawn kick on my lab, and that would actually kind of suck, right? I'd be pretty far away from Yggdrasil activating for put something in. That'd be a really bad card for them to have for me here. If I had an open mana, like an extra mana, I would have actually even dismembered the spawn to try to play around that and say, okay, if, you have to have actually a dual land too instead of just any land. I don't know if that actually would have been the right play, but I probably would have made it. It took them that long to decide, I should World Breaker Urigan's Labyrinth. It really took them that long? What? Seriously? How did it take them that long to decide that was their play? Seems like a very obvious play. Am I wrong? Am I missing something? I mean, turn 3 World Breaker, hit your 2 mana land. Like, what about that required intense thought? I mean, holy shit. Yeah, I mean, they were on the play, had all the fast mana. Sure, that's unfortunate. I just I why did they take so long to decide? I'll play my thing and exile your land. All right, so 3-2, not bad, not bad. Still fun deck, still enjoying it. Definitely will play more in the future. Hope y'all enjoy the video. Catch y'all around.